Come you buy the salmon fishing, come you buy the ropery. Saw you, my dear sailor laddie, sailing on the raging sea. I come by the salmon fishing, I come by the ropery. I saw your dear sailor laddie, sailing on the deep blue sea. Come you buy the salmon fishing, come you buy the ropery. Join us at the Salmon Bothy every Friday virtually.
Good evening and welcome to another virtual Folk at the Salmon Bothy. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Debbie Taylor and I've been a regular at the club for almost 2 years now. I've found the club to be very friendly and the other regulars have been very encouraging towards my music and my songwriting, and I would definitely recommend the club to anyone who's thinking about having a go at performing. But anyway, back to tonight, and if you're wondering why I've got my hair in bunches like a little girl, it's because the first half of tonight's programme is going to roughly take the theme of childhood. A few weeks ago at one of the Zoom meetings that we used to have after the show, Mike Blackburn set us the challenge of writing a song about our childhood, or related to our childhood, and that's what gave me the idea for tonight's theme. We'll be hearing Mike's song later on, but for just now we'll start off with mine. As some of you know, I grew up in Edinburgh, which is rich in culture and history, but when I was a child I had no interest in that at all. I would much rather have been playing on the swings in the meadows, which I loved so much. Now, in the summertime we used to get visits from family, and of course that meant we had to take the visitors out and about to see the sights. And my least favourite part of that, as you'll hear, was being dragged round the Royal Mile and all the museums that there are there. Now the technical guys will now beam me up to my designer studio, aka the spare bedroom.
I just wanted to play on the sticky meadow
Now, if there are any children watching, we've got something just for you now. My love of folk music began in my childhood when I was introduced to the singing kettle, so I've got a lot to thank this group for. I'm delighted that Artie Josias has recorded this highly entertaining rendition of the Train to Glasgow for the club.
Again, apologies for the backdrop here. I'm still making children's videos, and they're up online. They're on YouTube, and they're Artie's Singing Kettle. Artie's Singing Kettle on YouTube. There's about 20 of them, so please check them out. I'm going to do a children's song for you today. This one I got from a woman called Wilma Horsburgh. My wife Cilla liked it at school, and she wrote the tune to it. And we recorded it way back in the early 80s on the very first Singing Kettle album. You know, the thing I miss about during the lockdown here, I miss all the travel. I love travelling and coming up to the northeast there and doing shows all over the place. And every week, or every fortnight maybe, I go down to Manchester to see Manchester United football. And I like the game, but just that travelling, I go on the train down there and back again in the day, and it's a smashing day out. I'm missing that, and we'll get back to it sometime, I'm sure. So I'll put you over now to the video of something I recorded last night, the train to Glasgow. All aboard! Here's the train to Glasgow, and here's the driver, Mr. McIver, who drove the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. And here is the guard from Donnybristle, who waved his flag and blew his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to stop the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. And here's the boy called Donald McBrain, who came to the station to catch the train. Saw the guard from Donnybristle wave his flag and blow his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to stop the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. And here's the guard, her name is Anne, who at the last moment hauled into the van. That fortunate boy, Donald McBrain, who came to the station to catch the train, saw the guard from Donnybristle wave his flag and blow his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to start the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. And here are the hens and here are the cocks, clucking and crowing inside a box. In charge of the guard, her name is Anne, who at the last moment hauled into the van. That fortunate boy, Donald McBrain, who came to the station to catch the train, saw the guard from Donnybristle wave his flag and blow his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to start the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. And here's the train, it gave a jolt, it loosened the catch, it loosened the bolts, let out the hens and let out the cocks, clucking and crowing inside a box. In charge of the guard, her name is Anne, who at the last moment hauled into the van. That fortunate boy, Donald McBrain, who came to the station to catch the train, saw the guard from Donnybristle wave his flag and blow his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to start the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. the guard chased the hen and missing it fell. The hens were clucking the cocks as well. Unless you were there, you haven't a notion. The flurry, the fuss, the noise, the commotion caused by the train which gave a jolt. It loosened the catch, loosened the bolts, let out the hens and let out the cocks, clucking and crowing inside a box. In charge of the guard, her name is Anne, who at the last moment hauled into the van that fortunate boy, Donald McBain, who came to the station to catch the train, but saw the guard from Donnybristle wave his flag and blow his whistle to tell the driver, Mr. McIver, to start the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. But Donald was quick and Donald was neat and Donald was nimble on his feet. He caught the hens and he caught the cocks and he put them back in a great big box. The guard was pleased as pleased could be. He invited Donald to come to tea on Saturday at Donnybristle. Then he'd let him blow his lovely whistle. He said in all his life he'd never seen a boy so quick and clever, and so did the driver, Mr. McIver, who drove the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. The train, the train, the train, the train, the train, the train to Glasgow. All aboard the train to Glasgow, calling at Inch, Inverurie and Dice, then change at Aberdeen for stops to Portlethen, Inverurie, Montrose, Arbroath, Dundee, Perth, Stirling, terminating at Glasgow, Queen Street.
Thank you, Artie, that was fun to watch. And well done for all the quick hat changes there. Now, another man who likes his hats, and who treated us to a good selection of them a couple of weeks ago, is our very own Mike Blackburn. As promised earlier, here's the song Mike has written, reflecting on his own childhood.
This is called Picture of a Boy, and as I said, I just finished writing it today. Well, the picture on the sideboard is quite faded. My memory is getting just that way. This boy that smiles intently at the camera seems a lifetime and a million miles away. A cowboy or a pirate, maybe Batman. You were always first to challenge or to raise, and the cares that seemed to wear me down from dawn till dusk today never gave a troubled second to that face. And the smile next door is hardly any different. Your enthusiasm crushing every doubt. Every picture taken every year from 7 till 19 stayed the same in time of victory or rout. The only limit, your imagination, a thing that seemed to have no start or end. Your friendship was a thing to guard and treasure every day, for no one else was such a treasured friend. I remember all the carefree, happy summers. I remember all the simple, better ways. But what happened to the dreams of your tomorrows? Did you lose them in your living yesterday? So I turn and look at all the other pictures, when you grew up far too quickly, far too well. Soon forgotten were those dreams of guts and glory, though at the time you only told yourself. But who's this girl in every single photo, seen turning to a woman and her mom? Your smile is very different in these images with her. How you changed to be the man you have become. What a difference she brought to all the pictures, different dreams and different promises and fears. Oh, there are lines you wouldn't have if she weren't with you, and there's proof of disappointment and of tears. Oh, this woman changed your goals, your expectations, made you daddy, then granddaddy, and then old. And those blue eyes pierce you now with all their hopes and wants and needs. When you let her down, it pierces you to your soul. I remember all the carefree, happy summers. I remember all those simple, better ways. But what happened to the dreams of your tomorrows? Did you lose them in your living yesterday? Well, I noticed something strange about these pictures. Every one of them is you and her alone. There's no portrait, not a single of a single. No, they're always you together in your home. And I realize the truth in all those photos, and I won't suggest it's cute or even sweet, but the reason there's not either without both, you are a pair, is that you and she make both of you complete. Yes, I remember when you met, she made you happy. I remember all the seeds you both have sown. I remember that you both let go your own dreams to make the dreams together that you own. The child I saw in all those early pictures, he is looking out at all your joined up plans, and I know that he is nothing but contented, that the boy he was became you as a man, that the boy he was became you as a man. Picture of a boy.
Thank you, Mike. Now it's story time. And here with the latest misadventure of the young boy Albert we have been following is club regular Paul Moody. This week's story involves a lavatory.
By gum, I nearly forgot to do Albert this week. And it's blowing a cold wind outside, so we've lit a fire so you won't get so cold. This week it's Albert and the Privy by John Bilsborough. Now, Ramsbottom's family and Albert are sufficiently well known to you to relate an authentic occurrence, and furthermore, this tale is true. The great River Irwell in Bury flows majestically down to the sea, right past Ramsbottom's back garden and past their outside WC. Now, I needn't say much about privies. You've heard of the things, I can tell. They're found in all civilised places, and in some parts of England as well. It were a most well-appointed little building. There weren't no denying of that. Like a sentry box with a door on, and welcome wrote large on t' mat. Well, Albert had studied this privy, so made of wood so it might float. And with river so highly adjacent, he thought as it might make a boat. The weather were wild and tempestuous, and he crept down in the middle of the night, and pitted his strength against yon privy, and it fell in, and was swept right out of sight. And it floated away down Irwell, a swirling and whirling about, and he wondered just what he would say to his dad, and decided he wouldn't say out. At breakfast time, Mr. Ramsbottom remarked in a nonchalant way, "I see yon privy's gone missing. Our Albert, what have you to say?" Well, Albert said he hadn't done it, and couldn't guess rightly who had. Mr. Ramsbottom put down his saucer. "I'll tell thee a story, my lad. There were once a kid called George Washington, little fella no bigger than thee, and one day young George took an hatchet and chopped down his father's best tree. When his father asked him if he'd done it, young Georgie he started to cry. "Yes, father, I done it, for I cannot tell thee a lie." Now, young George were expecting a belting, because his father was somewhat uncouth, but instead he gave the young lad a sixpence as a reward for telling the truth. "So think on," said Mr. Ramsbottom. "If it weren't you what did it, who was it? Tell us the truth, our Albert. Were it you sabotaged our closet?" It were me," said Albert, expecting a sixpence or perhaps half a crown. But he got a great clout around his ear hole and a belting so hard he couldn't sit down. "And the reason for that," said father, "is quite explanations to see. The difference twixt thee and George what's-his-name is his father weren't sat in the tree. Oh well, we'll see you again."
Ah, naughty boy Albert. Now for a visitor to the club all the way from Florida by the name of Roger Smeds. The singing of lullabies to children is a custom in many cultures, and Roger is going to sing a lullaby by Billy Joel that he used to sing to his granddaughters.
Hi there, from Stuart, Florida. Patty and I are missing Portsoy a lot these days, and we're hoping to get back there sometime soon. We're under a little bit less strict conditions here in Florida than you folks are there, but hopefully it'll all come through at the end. I'd like to sing for you a lullaby that I learned a few years ago when my granddaughters were little. They're 7 and 4 and almost 16 right now, but this is one I sang to them when they were trying to get to sleep. It's written by Billy Joel for his daughter. It's called Lullaby. Do 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 do. Good night, my angel, time to close your eyes and save these questions for another day. I think I know what you've been asking me. I think you know what I've been trying to say. I promised I would never leave you, and you should always know, wherever you may go, no matter where you are, I never will be far away. Good night, my angel, now it's time to sleep, and and still so many things I want to say. Remember all the songs you sang for me when we were sailing on an emerald bay, and like a boat out on the ocean, I'm rocking you to sleep. The water's dark and deep inside this ancient heart. You'll always be a part of me. Good night, my angel, now it's time to dream, and dream how wonderful your life will be. Someday your child may cry, and if you sing this lullaby, then in your heart there will always be a part of me. Someday we'll all be gone, but lullabies go on and on. They never die. That's how you and I will be. Do 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 do. Good night, Portsoy. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Roger, and we hope you're able to come and visit us soon. Now, I think it's been remarked on just about every week what a fantastic singer Alison McConaughey is, and that's no surprise at all because it's absolutely true. Here's Alison now, accompanied by her husband Neil, singing her own song about her Sunday morning antics as a child.
There was a time in my life when Sunday mornings were great, and my mum would say to me, here's 50p for the plate, take your brother, don't be late, go to mass and say a prayer for me. And on those days we'd go down through King's Mills to Jeannie Mortimer's and spend that 50p. Pass by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we'd flee. This went on for quite some time before my mother, she got wise, and she would say to me, bring back a leaflet from the church and tell me all the hymns you sang, and say hello Father MacDonald for me. And on those days we'd go down through King's Mills to Jeannie Mortimer's and spend that 50p. Pass by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we'd flee. We had to form a new plan to keep our Sundays going well. My brother was braver than me. He'd run into the church and grab a leaflet and run out, and we'd run down past the Park Cafe. And on those days we'd go down through King's Mills to Jeannie Mortimer's and spend that 50p. Pass by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we'd flee. The Cooper Park was different then, not like the one we have today. We had a helter-skelter for a start, and the American swings that went around so very high, and of course the witch's hat. And on those days we'd go down through King's Mills to Jeannie Mortimer's and by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we flee. I don't remember for how long we got away with all our plans, but it seemed like a while at the time. Well, Jeannie's shop it is no more, nor is the pub where my dad went. Town has changed and we've all grown and moved away. But I remember those days that we'd go down to Jeannie Mortimer's and spend that 50p. Pass by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we'd flee. Yes, I remember those days that we'd go down to Jeannie Mortimer's and spend that 50p. Pass by the pub where my dad went, cross the bridge by the cathedral, to Cooper Park we flee.
Thank you, Alison. I love that song. Now, here's the story of a lamplighter as seen through the eyes of a child, sung by Kate Taylor.
Hi, for my second song I'd like to sing The Leady. I first heard Anne Reid singing this song and it seemed appropriate to sing it because Anne's been on our mind quite a bit. It's just past the 14th anniversary of her death, and also we're into the month when we would have had the Killarney singing weekend, so it seems quite appropriate to sing it. So, oh, my tea is nearly ready and the sun has left the sky. It's time to take the window and see Leary passing by. And so before I have my tea, before I take my seat, with lantern and with ladder, he comes coasting down the street. With lantern and with ladder, he comes coasting down the street. Now Tom could be a driver and Maria go to sea, and my dad runs a bank, so he's as rich can be. And I, when I am older and can choose what I'm to do, oh, Leary, I'll go round at night and light the lamps with you. Oh, Leary, I'll go round at night and light the lamps with you. Now we are very lucky with a lamp outside our door, and Leary comes to light it as he lights so many more. And so before I go to bed, with lantern and with light, oh, Leary, see this little child and nod to him tonight. Oh, Leary, see this little child and nod to him tonight.
That was lovely, Kate. Now, as many of you know, there's a dark side to our song tradition, and as well as the lullabies and the fun children's songs, there are also many murder ballads featuring children. On that happy note, I'll hand you over to the fantastic Spears family, who will perform one such ballad.
She sat down below a thorn, five flowers in the valley, and there she has her sweet babe born. And the green leaves they grow rarely. Smile, Maisie sweet, my bonny babe. Five flowers in the valley, and you smile so sweet, you'll smile me indeed. And the
Thank you, Tom, Maggie and Emma. Now, staying on the darker side, here is an alternative lullaby that is the story of a mother facing the harsh reality of living with an alcoholic husband. I first heard this song on the radio in the early 90s, sung by the group Jadanin, but tonight it is ably performed by club regular Bob Sharp.
This is a wee song from the pen of Eric Bogle. It's called The Glasgow Mother's Lullaby. It's not a song for singing to your kids at night, as it deals with domestic abuse and alcoholism. Oh my God, it's a weary, weary life. What would be a drinking man's wife? What would thaw all the trouble and strife? What but a silly woman? Hush wee babby, your daddy's coming in, stumbling up the stairs and missing every inn. He's had a bucket and he's searching for gin. He's drunk again as usual. Hush wee babby, he's coming in the door. His drunken big feet are skating over the floor. He's had a bucket and he's searching for more. He doesn't ken when he's beaten. Oh my God, it's a weary, weary life. What would be a drinking man's wife? What would all the trouble and strife? What but a silly woman? Hush wee babby, listen to him sitting there with his bloodshot eyes and his tousled hair, his mouth full of big talk and eyes full of despair, and blaming me as usual. Hush wee babby, for your daddy's gone to bed. In the morning he'll no remember all the words he said, for his tongue was sharp and oh the winds they bled. But then I'm used to bleeding. Oh my God, it's a weary, weary life. What would be a drinking man's wife? What with all the trouble and strife? What but a silly woman? Hush wee babby, close your weary eyes, cuddle into mommy and stop your tired wee cries. For in the morning when you begin to rise, your mommy will be there waiting. Oh my God, it's a weary, weary life. What would be a drinking man's wife? What with all the trouble and strife? What but a silly woman?
Thank you, Bob. Now, in a few minutes, we'll be taking a short break to give you the chance to get yourselves a drink, visit the bathroom, etc., etc. But taking us up to that, we'll conclude the childhood-themed part of the evening with a little cartoon. Now, this is the backdrop of a fantastic three-part harmony song from the band Triple. Stay tuned while I do a costume change, and we'll see you in 5 minutes or so.
But this all bend and shift and
the tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, div you play the tune o'er the sea. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, will you play a tune for me? Div you play so airs, my bonny bow fiddle, did roam the Scotland row, or jigs and reels, my bonny bow fiddle, did dance o'er your crocket pow. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, div you play the tune o'er the sea. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, will you play a tune for me? Div you hear the strains, my bonny bow fiddle, oh songs so long ago, shanties of sailors, my bonny bow fiddle, among your crannies flow. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, div you play the tune o'er the sea. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, will you play a tune for me? Long have you stood, my bonny bow fiddle, and played the tunes o'er the sea. Forever long, my bonny bow fiddle, you'll stand longer than me. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, div you play the tune o'er the sea. The tune div you play, my bonny bow fiddle, will you play a tune for me?
Far frae Buchan's heady shores, recht in the middle of the bloody Great War, Skipper Watt and his wee gimmery boat came face to face with the Kaiser afloat. Heavily armed they cruisers three, honed in on the gowan lee. Nae hope, nae prayer you could tell at a glance, surrender was offered, they had nae a chance. So the drug went woof, the gun went pop, nae surrender, nae retreat, nae stop. Stand your ground, let's tack her on, gie 3 cheers and let her run. Full speed ahead and awa we go, steaming through the Strait o' Otranto. Barking mad went the mascot dug, what gallant crew were in a fug. The drifter took her muckle hits, Austria's cruisers were blown her to bits. Engine connacht but nae out a fecht, gowly hurpled frae the Adriatic nacht, to live and to serve in another way, rescue others and save the day. And the dog went woof, the gun went pop, nae surrender, nae retreat, nae stop. Stand your ground, let's tack her on, gie 3 cheers and let her run. Full speed ahead and awa we go, steaming through the Strait o' Otranto. Wait!
Welcome back. Well, I hope your glasses are all recharged and you're ready for some more fantastic music and song. As you can see, my fairy godmother paid a visit during the interval, and I'm now all ready for the ceilidh, if only there was one to go to. We'll start off this half with a man I knew through work for several years, but only recently found out was a folk singer. The man is John Dixon, and here he is singing Alan Taylor's song, The Morning Lies Heavy.
Oh. This is a song by Alan Taylor called The Morning Lies Heavy. It was written for his American brother-in-law who just got enlisted at the time of the Vietnam War. Oh, the morning lies heavy on me, father, and I couldn't find the time to fall asleep, and it got me to thinking all the deeper, and the morning lies heavy on me. They said I wouldn't have to be there till tomorrow, and there's friends of mine I've really got to see, but it's not goodbye, I know there's soon to follow, and the morning lies heavy on me. Tell me who's the one who fights until he's broken? Is it the man who sits in judgment on us all? Well, I couldn't care if it was their lives they were taking, but they don't listen or even answer to the call. And tomorrow I'll be flying from the mainland, oh, and joining in a new company. Oh, and some of us will never see our homeland, and the morning lies heavy on me. Tell me who's the one who fights until he's broken? Is it the man who sits in judgment on us all? Well, I wouldn't care if it was their lives they were taking, but they don't listen or even answer to the call. And what's left for decent people to believe in is not a question of to be or not to be. Oh, and what's the point? It's only us that we're deceiving, and the morning lies heavy on me. Tell me who's the one who fights until he's broken? Is it the man who sits in judgment on us all? Well, I wouldn't care if it was their lives they were taking, but they don't listen or even answer to the call. And the morning lies heavy on me, Father.
Thank you, John. Now for a lively a cappella song about the Fisher Lasses from club regular Bill Gray.
The song Come Aye Fisher Lasses tells the story of the herring-gutting quines leaving the northeast and heading for the gutting yards in Yarmouth. Come aye Fisher Lasses. Come my fisher lassies, and come awa with me, I fi Care and Bulgan, Gamebray, I and Inverallachie. Fi Bucky and fi Aberdeen, and a' the country round, where awa to got the herring, where awa to Yarmouth town. You'll rise up in the morning with the bundles in your hand, you'll be at the station early, or you'll surely hate to stand. Take plenty to eat, and a potty for your tea, for you're sure to die of hunger on the way to Yarmouth Quay. The journey it's a long, and it'll take a day or twa, and when you reach your lodgings it's fast asleep you'll fall, and you'll rise in the morn with the sleep still in your een. You're awa to find the gunning yards along the Yarmouth Quay. It's early in the morning and late into the night, your hands are caught in chappet and you look an anchor sick, and you'll greet like a bairn when you put them in the bree, and you wish you were 1,000 miles away from Yarmouth Quay. There's coopers there and curers, and buyers canny cheels, there's lassies at the pickling, aye, and others at the creels, and you wish that the fish had bade into the sea by the time you finish gunning herring on the Yarmouth Quay. I've got it fish and lerwick and Stornoway and shields, I've worked along the Humber with the barrels and the creels. Whitby, Grimsby, I've travelled all around, but the place to see the herring is the quay at Yarmouth too. So come my fisher lassies, and come awa with me, I fi Care and Bulgan, Gamebray, I and Inverallachie. Fi Bucky and fi Aberdeen, and a' the country round, but the place to see the herring is the quay at Yarmouth town. Come on, fisher lassies, keep safe, folks.
Great song, Bill, thank you. Now, here's a song described as a cautionary tale by club guest Kenny Spears. I'm sure you'll enjoy this lively wee tune.
So this song's called Corryvreckan, which, as you may know, is a famous whirlpool off the north coast of Jura. But you know, the song's not really anything about that. A cautionary tale. Have you ever sailed too close to the edge, or stood upon a mountain ledge? A young sea eagle ready to fly, when you hear a far-off cry. I set sail on a golden morning, I paid no heed to the weather warning. And though I saw my compass spin, I threw caution to the wind. Then her whirlpool spun me round, strong undercurrents dragged me down. And as I tried to touch her face, my boat was sunk without a trace. I lost my bearings in the mist, helplessly trying to resist. A silky
silkies cry a salty kiss. Corrie reckon, a Corrie reckon, adds another to her list. With all remaining strength I tried to swim in vain against the tide. Shipwrecked, seasick, cast away, washed up on a lonely bay. I lost my bearings in the mist, helplessly trying to resist. A silky's cry, a salty kiss. Corrie reckon, Corrie reckon, adds another to the list. Stranded, I lay out of reach, like driftwood on an empty beach. My heart shattered since that time, like shells scattered along the tide line. I lost my bearings in the mist, helplessly trying to resist. A silky's cry, a salty kiss. Corrie reckon, Corrie reckon, adds another to the list. Corrie reckon, Corrie reckon, adds another to the list.
Thank you very much, Kenny. That was a very good song and I'm sure you all enjoyed it. Well, we've got a Wheel Kent face next. I'm sure you are ken him, or put up with him. Aye, it's another fine bothy ballad from our very own Oraloon, Dougie Hay. He's always a delight to listen to, and here he is with Bandy's Roup.
No, here's a wee song about Bandy's Roup, about these selling eyes, goods and chattels that move into the tune. A wee bit different for the things that marked the other day here, being a virtual route, but here we go. This is Bandy's Roup. Al Bandy, he was rouping out, his fairman days were done. He'd bocht a wee bit hoosey in the tune o' Aberdeen. Now a' his stock and implements were agin up for sale. He'd even sell the moose trap and the all slop pail. The foreman and the second lad were pit to wash the carts. They pint him up a reading green and I'll up a the perts. The Hoffland he would pint the plows, the harras and the grubber. The Bailey he'd read up the knout, we dandy came and scrubber. Now on the morning o' the rope, a thin was spick and span. There was a barrel fu' o' beer, that plenty beef and ham. For naebody would come to buy, but just to hae their fill. Al Bandy kent the drill fu' weel, he'd deen the same himsel. Now a' was ready for the rope, the crowd had gathered round. The young engineer cried out for bids, you couldna hear a soon. He thought he'd got them in the mood, and cries out, "Look here, Dixon, yon shalt'll do the work at wa, aye, and help out in the kitchen." Now the farmer fae the mill line was there to buy a stot. When he saw Bandy's bell going by, he set off at the trot. She says, "Now here, my little man, I'd like to know your game." Says he, "No bell fu' weel ye ken, my game it's aye the same." Well, fit ever his game was well, it seems Bell liked it fine. For now she is the farmer's wife, down at the mill line. But oft he'll stand and win her eye, and think until I'm sail, "Ach, I should ha' stuck to buying stots, and nae chased Bandy's bell." Well, the doctor fair enjoyed himsel, he'd had some muckle beer. His wife made up a lame excuse, she couldna stand the steer. He put up his hand to let her ken he'd be wi' her if new, and afore he kent he'd gin and bocht all Bandy's breeding Sue. Of course the women folk were there to hae a wee bit thrush. Afore the afternoon was deen, they'd buy up a' the trush. The catchy dame fae Pitney, she was keen on doing some bidding. She got on the dyke to get mair hecht, and fell back into the midden. And fin the rope was ower high, and the last chiel left the scene, all Bandy had a last look round, a tear come till his een. Syne down the brae he wondered far, he'd played fin just alone. Ach, I'm sure his heart was heavy as he set off for the tune. There we go, that was Bandy's rope.
Aye, great stuff as always, Doug. Now, a song I love, and one which is very popular, is Dougie MacLean's Caledonia. Here's a rendition of the song, very beautifully sung by Eileen Nordish.
Caledonia. I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me. These past few days I've been afraid that I might drift away. I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I come from. That's the reason why I sing so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia has been everything I've ever had. I have moved, kept on moving, proved the points that I've needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. Well, I have tried, I've kept on trying, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've travelled hard with conscience flying somewhere in the wind. So let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. empty room, a forest choir. The flames of coal don't get any higher. They're withered now, they're gone. I'm steady thinking, my way is clear. I know what I will do tomorrow. When hands have shaken, kisses flowed, I will drift away. So let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, but now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it wouldn't make me more than sad. Caledonia has been everything I've ever had. Caledonia has been everything I've ever had. Thank you.
Yes, that was lovely, Eileen. Thank you once again. Now for a song about a town on the Moray coast that I love to visit for a day out, namely Burghead. Here's Alan Taylor, no relation as far as I know, with a tale of another side to life in this town as experienced by the local fishermen.
This is a song by Gordon Mingies of Gabberlunzie fame. It's called the Burghead Sands. Come again, you Burghead men, who sail with the morning tide. Come again, through the wind and the rain, to the place where you'll always bide. And you know, as you stand on the Burghead Sands, though the years be 10 times 10, you'll aye be a slave to the ocean's wave, till you're back on the sea once again. When the fishing's done, the harvest won, may God your boaties guide to the harbour gate, where the women wait, till you're safely by your side. And you know, as you stand on the Burghead Sands, though the years be 10 times 10, you'll aye be a slave to the ocean's wave, till you're back on the sea once again. Born in the lee of the great North Sea, where the weeping willows lap, married at birth to the Moray Firth, and the deck o' a fishing craft. And you know, as you stand on the Burghead Sands, though the years be 10 times 10, you'll aye be a slave to the ocean's wave, till you're back on the sea once again. Come again, you Burghead men, to the broch where you'll aye belong. To the Druids' well, the clavey smell, the oyster catcher's song. And you know, as you stand on the Burghead Sands, though the years be 10 times 10, you'll aye be a slave to the ocean's wave, till you're back on the sea once again. And you know, as you stand on the Burghead Sands, though the years be 10 times 10, you'll aye be a slave to the ocean's wave, till you're back on the sea once again. The Burghead Sands.
Thank you very much, Alan. Now, in the first half we heard Mike Blackburn, and we also heard Alison and Neil McConaughey. Now we're going to see the three of them performing together as Northern Shore. This is their version of Black is the Colour.
color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some roses fair. She's the sweetest smile and the gentlest hands, and I love the ground whereon she stands. I love my love and well she knows. I love the ground whereon she goes. I wish that day it soon would come, where she and I will be as one. For black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some roses fair. She's the sweetest smile and the gentlest hands, and I love the ground whereon she stands. I go to the Clyde and I mourn and weep. I'm satisfied I never can be. I write her a letter, just a few short lines. I suffered death 1,000 times. For black is the color of my true love's hair. Her lips are like some roses fair. She's the sweetest smile and the gentlest hand, and I love the ground whereon she stands. Yes, I love the ground whereon she stands.
Fantastic as always, Northern Shore. Well, we're coming towards the end of our show, and so this is an appropriate time for the parting glass. This is an instrumental version of the song performed on recorder by Debbie Moody. Not only do we have the same name and have husbands with the same name, but we both seem to love bright colours, so perhaps Debbie and I have more in common than we realise.
Hi everybody. A couple of weeks ago Tom and Maggie did a version of the Parting Glass. I think it was Alan Bell's version, and it reminded me of this version. I've no idea who wrote it, I'm sure somebody does, but that's what we're going to play now for you, the Parting Glass.
Thank you, Debbie, for that lovely tune. Well, it really is the end now, folks. Thank you once again to all our performers for sending in your videos. Please do keep them coming in. I would like to thank Mike Blackburn for all his help and support in putting this together, and also Graham Legg for all he does in the background and for all his support with my music. I hope everybody's keeping safe and well, and that it won't be long before we all meet again back at the Bothy. I'll leave you as I started with one of my own songs, something a little bit different. Good night, and thank you for watching. This is a song called Where the Grass is Greener. When we see programmes on TV that have been filmed in exotic sunny locations, we tend to think, wow, the people that work on these shows and get to go to these places to work are so lucky, and why can't I have some of that? But having read the stories of a few people who've actually been to these places and worked on these shows, I've come to realise that there's actually a completely different side to it. I've pre-recorded the accompaniment to include some exotic sounds, so I hope you like it. Waking on a freezing day of unrelenting rain, facing many long drawn hours of unrewarding strain, returning in the rush hour, getting meals and cleaning done. I only have one quiet hour to put my TV on. Through the screen I see the sun in a far and distant land. Pelicans playing on fishing boats beached on the softest sand. It seems that those who live out there are on a winning streak. I am human, I am weak, and the finer things I seek. And where the grass is greener, how I long to be. Where the sun shines warmer on the flawless sea. Where the stars sing joyful songs and ever want to go. But what would I know? What would I know? But from this land I hear a tale I never thought to hear. A sad, sad tale of loneliness for nearly half a year. Of missing all the milestones of a growing family. You're so human when you speak of the important things you seek. And where the grass is greener, how you long to be. Laughing with the ones you love in perfect harmony. Never looking back upon the other life you've known. Of course you would know. Yes, you would know. Not knowing what they do to you, you never dare to sleep. You're so human when you speak of the security you seek. And where the grass is greener, how you long to be. Where the sky is merciful and brings no fear. Laughing in the gentle rain, in the land you know is home. Of course you would know. Yes, you would know. I'm still human, I'm still weak, still the finer things I seek. And where the grass is greener, how I long to be. Where the sun shines warmer on the flawless sea. Where the stars sing joyful songs and ever want to go. But what would I know? What would I know? What would I know? What would I know? Thank you.